Week 2 of Bears OTAs is in the books. We got some winners and losers. Welcome to Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. We'll get into that, plus a few other notable takeaways, some news items in there as well, so stay tuned for that. Let's start with QB1. Caleb Williams is in the winner category. I told you guys last week, if he struggled in front of the media again, the open practice, I would put him in the loser category. Well, the opposite happened. Adam Johns and several others had the note that Caleb Williams today, 13 of 15, but I think actually 13 of 14 because a lot of reporters said it was 13 of 14, plus the defensive pass interference, which Johns mentioned here as well. John says he threw darts all over the field, including a touchdown to DJ Moore. Williams in the offense also won the situational drill, ending with Cairo Santos' field goal and the lead. I believe that was in 11 on 11. So dissected the defense in 7-on-7s, leads a 2-minute drill for a game-winning field goal. It's pretty dominant practice, and obviously that's not always going to happen. There's nuance to these things. Like, for example, the Bears were without a lot of their secondary, as 4 of their 5 defensive secondary members were not present. Both safeties did not practice. Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker. Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon were out there. So, yeah, I mean, look, you needed to bounce back after a rough practice last week, plus some key members of the secondary down. That should be advantage offense, just like last week should be advantage defense. Defense won last week, offense won this week. So, again, it's OTAs. We're not going to overreact one on either end of the spectrum when things go well or when things don't. But it's good to see Caleb bounce back. Bounce back ability is important, and he certainly showed that on display today. Show Caleb Williams some love. Get the 18s going down in the comment section down below. Certainly nice to see OTAs end on a fine note before mandatory minicamp kicks off next week. Nate Davis, loser category. Now, slightly more positive note today, I suppose. But Courtney Cronin had the note here that Nate Davis and Darnell Wright were present today, but Davis was not practicing. Shocker. He spent the stretching portion on a vertical stair climber and watched offensive line drills today. At least he was there? ? I mean, that's better than him not being there, which was the case last week. But I will say this, just in Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus's overall roster building strategies, a core of that, they've said it over and over again. We want guys who love football. I'm not saying Nate Davis doesn't. He doesn't really show you that he does, though. There was a stigma of him not liking to practice. That is clearly played out here. The hits principles of being a guy who goes above and beyond, he doesn't really show that. I get it's voluntary. Other guys aren't there either. But he's kind of got a reputation at this point. Like, I think it's different. Like, we'll talk about Montez Sweat later. He hasn't been there for 2 weeks of OTAs. Well, that guy came in here at the trade deadline and is known for being a hard worker and transform your entire defense. Nate Davis, yes, had personal issues last year. We're not dismissing those at all. But when he didn't play that well. After the injury last year, he played pretty poor. Now he's not that involved in the offseason program. So, I don't know, man. I'm just going to continue to monitor this situation. I think people just assume he's going to start and play at a good level. And I got to believe it to see it at this point, because I would say, 16 months into him signing with this football team, you'd have to give that signing a D at best. I mean, he had a few good games last year, but overall it's been a pretty big disappointment, I would say. Check out PrizePicks, our sponsor here on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. The NBA Finals are here, and the action is heating up, and you should get in on all of it with daily fantasy sports. PrizePicks has 5 million active users and counting. You should be one of them. Create an account today. It takes less than 90 seconds. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. You choose more or less on the stat projections from PrizePicks, and you make money. It's very simple on how it all works. You got NBA Finals plays going on right now. You got NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball, season-long NFL stat projections. We got DeAndre Swift more than 850.5 rushing yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown more than 7.5 receiving touchdowns. Like those both to hit. 10 to win $30 on this 2-player entry. Get started today. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a first-time deposit match up to $100. That way you can dip your toe into the deep end a little bit, figure out what you like, and you got some extra money to play with as well. Link is in the comments and in the description. Get signed up today. Okay, DJ Moore, he's a winner. He was on the receiving end of that touchdown from Caleb Williams in 7-on-7s, but also had a nice catch up the sideline in that 2-minute drill situation to set up that Cairo Santos 40-yard game-winning field goal in a situational drill. That's a good sign. Look, we know what kind of player DJ Moore is. I don't think that's in doubt. But more than anything else, what I want to see out of these OTAs, these voluntary practices, is A, how do young players perform against veterans? And B, especially in this situation with your rookie number 1 pick quarterback, Caleb Williams, build that chemistry with DJ Moore. We know about the touchdown pass to Rome Odunze the other day. Those two are building chemistry. Like, get these quality reps with these receivers that you're going to be throwing to, because until, a month ago, you weren't teammates with these guys. So you want to get as many reps as possible, start building that chemistry, and that certainly seems to be taking place, which is all a very big positive. I'll put Tyrique Stevenson in the loser category. I don't think it's that big of a deal. He did get beat for that touchdown the other day in practice by Rome Odunze, but last week he was dominant. So, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. He's a very good player. It was harder to find players in the negative category today, so I'll put him in there. But on the flip side, he was also the only starting DB out there today, so he's having to serve as CB1, and he's playing with a bunch of backups today. So, again, there's context to all this stuff as well. So I'm still very bullish on Tyrique Stevenson. Again, not going to overreact to the overly positive stuff, not going to overly react to the negative stuff. OTAs are voluntary, so we do have to put this stuff into context. Next week is mandatory minicamp. That is, not a huge step forward, but guys are expected to be there. The intensity should ramp up a bit, so we'll judge those practices a little more closely. Subscribe to the channel. We'll have full coverage of mandatory minicamp next week, and if you want non-stop coverage of this football team, be sure to bear down and subscribe to the channel. It's 100% free. We're not going to charge you a dime. Trying to get to 100,000 subs by week 1. And then let's talk about us, the fans, winners. I still think the OTA coverage, only 1 practice per week being open, is a joke, and the NFL should spread as much information and access to its fans as it possibly can. You know what is inside access? Hard Knocks, and the Bears seem to be embracing it. Matt Eberflus talked about it a bunch today. He said that players are excited. He said we've got a good thing going here, so there's a lot of positive things they can show on display to Bears fans and just football fans all over the world. I saw a note the other day that 4.5 million people on average watched the Jets episodes last year. I think the Bears are going to top that. I think it's going to do huge numbers for HBO. And my advice was, before they got Hard Knocks, was embrace it, lean into it. You should want to be on Hard Knocks. A, if you do it now, you're not going to have to do it for a long time. And B, yes, you are an exciting team. Yes, people are interested. You have the number 1 overall pick. Lean into it. Lean into that excitement. So the players seem happy about it, according to Flus. And, hey, why not, man? Try something different, because being the boring private organization hasn't really gotten you anywhere in the last 25 years. So it does feel like it's a new day at Hallis Hall. If you're excited for Hard Knocks, type me down in the comments. You know you're excited. Come on. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of people have, kind of grown, not bored, but just Hard Knocks hasn't packed the same punch in recent years. I think this one could be pretty damn good, though. There's a lot of interesting storylines around the Bears. And by the way, if you're watching this on Friday afternoon, we'll have a video tomorrow on the channel of 5 Hard Knocks storylines to watch. So keep an eye on that as well. So quick other Bears news, notes, nuggets. Rome Odunze was a full go. He's fully back from that minor hamstring tweak. We saw the touchdown pass that went viral on social media. He was a full go at practice. That's good. Jalen Johnson was absent, but that's because he's out in California getting ready for his charity event that he throws every year. His daughter lives out there. Several Bears teammates are expected to be in attendance for that. So that'll be interesting to see who all flies out there. And then Montez Sweat, who's been absent during OTAs, will be there next week, Flus said, and has been around the building in the offseason. It's not like he hasn't been around. So And again, it goes back to just different things. Certain guys earn equity. Like Montez Sweat very quickly became a leader and a reliable player on this team last year. It's one thing when he's not practicing at OTAs. It's another thing when Nate Davis isn't. Like it's just not the same. If you're a 25-year-old or a 25-year vet at your company who has consistently produced, you don't have to go to the Christmas party. But if you've been on the job for 3 months, you probably should show up. I know Montez Sweat's new to the team, but the way he produced and him just being a vet in this league, like I'm not going to lose sleep about him not being at OTAs. But I'm going to keep an eye on this Nate Davis situation. I absolutely am, which is why you should follow me on social media as well. We'll continue to cover the Bears over there also at HGram NFL. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.